Morobe Governor explains lack of support for vote of no confidence motion. Advocates against family violence say survivors withdraw cases before court. The chaos of a robbery filmed by EMTV news crew.
This is National EMTV News with Morobe Tulo.
Good evening and thank you for joining us for Sunday's news. Morobe Governor Kelly Naru has come out public in an attempt to clarify his position on his refusal to be a part of the opposition's vote of no confidence approach. In a news conference today, Naru said he did not support the vote of no confidence motion against the Prime Minister because the vote would serve no practical purpose a few months before the elections. He has also defended his stand, saying he was not coerced by the Prime Minister into not backing the vote.
The time that we are going through now does not permit for the vote of no confidence motion to be introduced and let alone to essentially get a change in government. And my view is that the special and exceptional circumstances that must exist, which I am referring to, part of that special and exceptional circumstances must be the will of the people in government themselves to actually trigger the change to come about. And that is part of the special and exceptional circumstances that I'm referring to.
Meanwhile, Governor Naru has called for a review of Papua New Guinea's system of government to allow for the people to vote for the Prime Minister instead of the Prime Minister being voted by members of Parliament. Naru said processes and procedures should be changed so that votes of no confidence are reduced and stability is improved. He pointed out that the current system, where parliamentary representatives vote for the Prime Minister, has caused many problems over the last 40 years. Stakeholders in the fight against family and sexual violence have identified that women withdraw their family and sexual violence cases before they are taken to court. It comes following survivors refusing to take the cases further to the courts after being medically treated at Lay's Family Support Center.
A small audience of men and women turned up. The focus of this discussion was on the problems women encounter when faced with family and sexual violence. Enga Hospital's Family Support Center medical officer in charge, Dr. Lincoln Mendes, says many women live with family and sexual violence without reporting it, as they see themselves subordinate to their husbands. In most cases, this medical officer says women fear losing their husbands, especially when men are the sole providers of their family.
One of our biggest problems that we are facing, because the men in many cases in the cities and towns are the breadwinners. They think they have a right to abuse the woman, their wives, their children.
Lay's Family Support Center records over 10 cases of family and sexual violence in a day. A lot of these cases involve survivors who stop short of taking their cases through the legal systems after help is provided at medical support centers.
At the end of so much effort being put in, a lot of our mothers are withdrawing. And it is frustrating the legal system and the medical system.
The medical systems encourage women and children to make use of the avenues and services available. Colin Barilai, National EMTV News, Lay.
You're with Sunday's news coming up after the break. A woman has nominated to contest the Samarai Murua by-election and Papua New Guinea to host Apec's 42nd Transportation Meeting Group this week. Don't go away. Welcome back to National EMTV News. A local businesswoman has nominated to contest the Samarai Murua Open by-election. Penita Levinai is the second candidate who was nominated after incumbent MP Gordon Wesley nominated since the writs were issued last Friday. The by-election is a result of a Supreme Court decision in January this year, which pronounced the disputed returns null and void. Chief Electoral Commissioner Patilias Gamato said the by-election will run together with the polling of the vacant Murua LLG President's seat. Polling commences on the 27th of April and writs will be returned on May the 27th. A trade store in Port Moresby's Hohola 4 suburb was robbed by a group of men yesterday afternoon. Our news crew happened to pass by when the robbers were making off with their loot around 3:30 p.m., causing mayhem for nearby residents as they ran to and fro. Ho'ola Police Station Commander Benjamin Kwa said an official complaint is yet to be laid at the Ho'ola Police Station. Meanwhile, a suspect who allegedly stole a vehicle in Port Moresby was apprehended yesterday morning in the Morata and Waigane area. He is now in police custody. The stolen vehicle has been impounded at the Ho'ola Police Station. Papua New Guinea will be hosting for the first time Apec's 42nd Transportation Working Group meeting from the 4th to the 7th of April. Over the next 4 days, delegates from 4 major expert groups under the TPTWG will convene to discuss Apec transportation policies. Department of Transport Secretary Roy Mumu said the meeting would be a great avenue for PNG to leverage its domestic transportation priorities with that of Apec. Here with National MTV News, we have Trukai Sports for you after the break. Stay tuned.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. The Lower Sogeri Sports Association kicked off its first round of soccer and volleyball matches today with 44 teams participating. The soccer teams are qualifying to represent the Lower Sogeri Sports Association for the upcoming Besta Cup. The competition is in its 11th year.
The competition sees locals from 14 Mile to 9 Mile and even to the Goldie area taking part in soccer and volleyball competitions. This year's competition is an inclusion of 2 teams from Abao and Rigo districts. In soccer, a total of 16 men's teams and 8 teams in the women's division. And in volleyball, 10 teams each for men and women.
Inside lo 2 weekend before by starting this proper season, lo yeah lo Lower Sogeri. He been got champion trial games been come up lo year. We got all selection squad all been come na play all trial games one time all teams also take part lo year na. Or come up one time all extended selection bro low by play.
The LSSA is registered under the PNG Football Association and players have also taken part in the previous Besta Cup competitions. For the 2016 competition, the winning team for LSSA will go on to qualify for the Besta Cup. The top soccer teams are the Anate and Samika, both in the men's and women's divisions. This competition will continue for 2 more weekends and is a lead up to the Team Central qualifier for the 2016 PNG Games. Meanwhile, Team Central will be taking part in 7 sporting codes, and they include volleyball, basketball, and netball. Marilyn Diaukatam, National MTV Sports.
To AFL now, and AFL PNG held its Level 1 accredited coaching clinic this weekend with over 50 coaches and participants from around the country. AFL Community Football Operations Manager Andrew Hughes said the one-day course aims to train and develop coaches at all levels to better serve AFL in the country.
The Level 1 coaching clinic was aimed to better equip the coaches with the required knowledge and basic AFL skills to further improve the level of the game. Participants were taken through some basic AFL drills and coaching sessions.
We just spent some time out in the sun, out on the oval, and plenty of laughter, plenty of fun, and it was just great to see everyone learning how to go about running clinics and coaching across our program. So it was fantastic.
With the popularity of AFL in the country yet to reach its full potential, such programs encourages the involvement and participation of coaches and also aims to identify players and set pathways for them to play in Australia.
And getting those kids to travel to Australia and develop their skills to become better, I think we have a great opportunity here to find good talented players and help them develop and become better players and better people.
Ben Drew, AFL Development Manager for South Pacific, said educating people across NCD and other parts of the country.
We've been able to engage not just the football community, but the school, teacher community and the NCDC Youth Desk with Rex Booker and his team coming in and doing our coaching course. So it's certainly been a big priority for us to upskill and provide workshops not only for our staff but for the community as well.
This program is aimed at growing the interest of the sport in the country. Shane Saroya, National MTV Sports.
Still in AFL, the PNG men's national side, the Mosquitoes, has set a benchmark, being the current International Cup winners and ranked first place in the Oceania region, apart from Australia and New Zealand. However, the involvement of women in AFL PNG competitions has increased dramatically from last year.
There's a really big focus coming out of Australia now in our sport, and I'm sure it's certainly for all the other codes as well. It's a big chunk of the population in every country in the world that deserve an opportunity, and we hope to be a good vehicle to provide that opportunity for the girls and for the women, from right here all the way through to 2014 International Cup. Out of the top 10 in the world that ended up there, 5 of them were from the Pacific, out of the world. So PNG was 1 and Fiji was 10th, and that doesn't include New Zealand as well.
To basketball now, and the PNG Men's Basketball League opened its 2016 season today at the Tauranga Aquatic Centre. Tamaro's Saints, Jokers, Chariots and defending champions Flames were the 6 registered teams in the competition. On hand to officially open the season was Minister for Mining and Petroleum, Ben Maika, who encouraged players to train hard and play to the best of their ability, given such world-class facilities to train in. The minister also challenged organisers and officials to build the level of competition and take it to greater heights as Rugby League's Intercity Cup. Most of the players from the PNG men's basketball team came from this competition, and it is most likely a handful of young talents will emerge from the competition as the season intensifies over the next few months. And that story wraps up Trukai Sports. Up next, your weather details for the first day of the new working week.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
Taking a look at the weather forecast for the next 24 hours, we begin in the southern region. Mostly fine in Port Moresby with a top temperature of 32 degrees. Fine weather with a top of 32 expected as well in Daru, Kerma, Alotau and Popondetta. To the Momase region, mostly fine in Lei, Wau and Medang, and fine weather as well expected in Wewak and Vanimore. To the New Guinea Islands region, a shower or 2 expected in Lorengau, Kokopo and Rabaul, and fine weather in Kavieng, Kimbe and Buka. And in the Highlands region, mostly fine in Mount Hagen, Goroka, Kundiawa, Mendi and Wabag. To a look at the forecast for small ships for the next 24 hours, waters of southern PNG Indonesian border through Torres Strait and Daru to Kiwai Island, to Kerema, to Yule Island, Wood Point, Samurai Island with waters of Samurai Island to Cape Vogel, Finchafen with waters of Finchafen through Vitia Strait to Long Island, including Siasi Islands, Dampier Strait, with waters of Long Island to Medang to Bogia, Wewak, Aitape, Vanimo and northern PNG Indonesian border, with waters of Manus and its western group of islands, and waters of New Island to New Britain, seas 0.5 to 1.3 meters. Waters of eastern and western Milne Bay Islands, with waters of Bougainville, seas 0.5 to 1.5 meters. A look at the ocean forecast for PNG areas. In the Coral Sea, seas slight to moderate with southeast to southwesterly winds at 10 to 20 knots. Solomon Sea, seas slight with southwesterly winds at 10 to 15 knots. Bismarck Sea, seas slight with northwesterly winds at 10 to 15 knots. And the Pacific Ocean sees slight to moderate with northwesterly winds at 10 to 20 knots. Before we go, we have the story about PNG announcing the first ever hosting of the 42nd Apec Transportation Working Group meeting. The announcement was made at the newly built Convention Center. Here's Melissa Goviro with the story.
The Transportation Working Group meeting should see the attendance of about 250 delegates and will be facilitated in the newly established Waigani precinct. The four major expert groups, aviation, maritime, land and intermodal and ITS experts, will utilize the facility's smaller conference rooms to discuss specific transportation policies. The groups will then convene in the main conference room for a collective assessment of all the outcomes. The meetings will provide PNG's transport sector agencies and other line government agencies the opportunity to take ownership of the transport development priorities within APAC to develop their own. The APAC meeting will also cover other meetings on specific matters, including women in transport, with which the meeting will kick off with tomorrow. Melissa Goviro, National EMTV News.
And to end the news, a recap of our main stories. Morobe Governor Kelly Naru explains non-support for a vote of no confidence while suggesting people should vote for the Prime Minister. Advocates against family violence encouraging survivors to take cases to court, and PNG to host APEC's 42nd Transport Working Group meeting for the very first time. And that's the news, sports and weather for today, Sunday the 3rd of April 2016. Stay tuned for a special Talk Pixel look at TB prevalence in Daru, and don't forget to catch Vocal Fusion after World News this week. On behalf of the EMTV News team, pleasant viewing. Good night.